back to my channel and welcome to a new video. First of all, if I pick up a tissue to wipe my head at any moment, it is boiling hot in here right now. I've turned my fan off to film this video and it's like we're in the world's biggest heat wave right now. Like, what is the temperature whilst I'm filming this? It is currently 28 degrees. Right now was meant to be when the thunderstorm started. Hasn't started yet, but anyway, kind of glad it hasn't because I decided randomly to film last minute. Second of all, welcome to a new background. We are in my new room for my university room, so from now till June next year you will see, hopefully till June next year, you will see me in this room filming. Obviously you'd have seen it in my vlogs before this video, but this is my first main channel video to film in here, apart from my room tour. Sorry, I'm just drinking a smoothie. And third of all, if you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Amelia. That was a bit of a ramble. I like to chat a lot, sorry. I am a university student. I am about to start my Masters in Digital Marketing, and I have been at the University of Portsmouth for the last 3 years, and I'm about to be there for 4 years now, basically. Oh my god, it's so hot. And I post videos from like uni videos to more like lifestyle videos to just general videos. My hair is not my day. It's not my hair day today. I think it's to do with heat because this humidity has made my hair like bad. Like, it doesn't look like it was done on Friday. My hair just is, because usually it's like sleek and great. It's not. I'm very sorry. This is like just about bearable weather. No, it's not even bearable weather, it's unbearable weather. But anyway, we're not gonna we're gonna try not get annoyed by the heat in this video. We're gonna film, then the fan's gonna go back on, and I'm gonna chill. But before we get into this video, please give it a thumbs up, please comment down below, please subscribe, and please follow my social medias, as in the description below. And without further ado, let's just get on with the video. So, for this video I've decided to do a video that I feel very passionate about, especially recently, because I have definitely been doing this a lot more recently than I was in the past, and I feel like I should share it. So this video, as you can see from the title, is why now is the right time to focus on yourself. And it's really not just about this time. Like, if I was going to post something like this at the beginning of lockdown, but didn't really have much, like, not expertise, but like the feeling of like focusing on myself at that point either. Only recently did I start, but like, think about it this way: you're young and you're only young once, and we spend a lot of time focusing on the wrong things, focusing on guys, toxic friendships, a lot of other things that are, yeah, they're partly important in your life, but they're not the most important thing in your life. Like, yes, your friends are important. I will never say to you, don't think about your friends, because I always do, but there is a time when you start to rely on your friends to make your happiness than yourself, and that's when it gets a bit wrong, and that's when you start losing yourself. I was definitely a person before uni would rely on myself to get by. I didn't really socialise. I only socialised with a couple of people, otherwise it was just me. I'm very sorry about this. Weather, I told you, weather is not my friend. I didn't focus on myself, and then I went to uni, that's what I meant to say, and I became very sociable, very more extroverted. I was introverted before uni, so I had the time to focus on myself because I spent all the time indoors. Didn't go anywhere unless it was for work, college, or the few friends I had. And then I came to uni and had to become a bit more extroverted because I didn't want to spend all the time in my room, you know, being on my own. To the point when I stopped focusing on myself and I saw a decline in myself. I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I was just in the I was in this body, but I wasn't here, if that makes sense. So I definitely do believe that, yeah, you can focus on your friends, but when it becomes too much that you rely on them to make you happy, that is when it becomes a bit wrong. You need to focus on yourself to make you happy. So that is why now is important to do it, because there's going to be a time in your future, potentially, that you're going to be married, maybe, and you might have kids, and things become a little bit difficult to just focus on yourself when you're married and have kids, because you've got to focus on your kids' happiness. I mean, it's more like your kids' happiness than your husband's, but you've also, when you're married, you've got someone else to think about because you're around them all the time. Now, I'm not saying you're not around your housemates. If you're a uni student, you're around housemates all the time, but it's different. Like, you're not in the same room with them, you're not sharing a bed with them, you're not, apart from when you're at work, you're not spending every second of the day with them, you know. So now is the right time to spend time focusing on yourself, because when that day comes and you can't, it's going to be really hard if you've already lost yourself and you can't find yourself again. Now, losing this time, you can't. This is another thing I have to say. I'm very like gibberish today, partly because it's hot, but again, heat isn't part of it. The thing is, when you're not focusing on yourself, you're focusing on other things that might be important, but it's not as important. Like, for example, you could be focusing on boys, which is always my big thing, and it's the only one that hits my head all the time, because it's one thing a lot of girls do at a certain age. You see all your friends getting in relationships, getting, like, maybe having babies, getting married, and you're there like, well, what about me? Why am I the only one single? Why am I like, what if you're the only one in your friendship group that's single, and it's always been that way? It's really hard sometimes to deal, and it's sometimes that's what you lose yourself in. But really, you shouldn't be focusing on that, because the saying says that it's when you're least expecting it will happen, and that will be when you're ready, and it will be when you love yourself, and you don't need someone else to love you to be happy. You need to love yourself, which is a big thing. I definitely say self-confidence is hard, and it's definitely the hardest thing I've had to learn, and I'm still learning it as the days go by, but it's something you have to kind of like, you have to spend that most of the time. You have to invest in yourself more than in another person, because yes, that other person in your life, like your best friend, could be amazing, but you can't invest your whole time in them, because otherwise you're going to spend your time miserable if they're getting on with other things or they're doing something else and you can't see them. Like, not saying that your friends don't want to make time for you, because that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to make time for yourself as well as your friends, because one day it will become, your friend might settle down and they might have more priorities, like having to look after their kid, and you can't be around them all 24/7 when that happens. Instead, you've got to like really love yourself. So invest time in yourself, because this is your time to do it. You're young, whether you're 28, whether you're 18 or you're 30, you're still young. Invest this time in yourself, because you're never going to know what's going to happen, and it's the time where you pick up a hobby you've not actually thought about doing. Quick interlude: when people get like hot and sweaty, you notice like hits the back of your hair, because this really bothers me, because I like my hair like not being frizzy, and at the back of it is always frizzy because the sweat's literally hit it. Where is a thunderstorm? I want a thunderstorm, and I've never said that.
Come on. It is well hot. Might be too hot. Might be.
Back on track. The time to pick up your new hobby you've always wanted to do. Go. I mean, right now we're in lockdown technically, or like we're slightly not, but I feel like there's going to be another one. But now is the time to travel to places you always wanted to go. Now is the time to get that tattoo you always wanted to get. Now is the time just to enjoy your life, do something you thought you would never do. Yeah, fear is a big thing. Like, fear, this is another thing to invest in yourself. I'm going on a little bit of a tangent and intertwining everything, but it makes sense. When it comes to self-love, self-confidence and everything, fear becomes a big thing of it, because you're scared of what could happen, of other things that help you build that confidence. Fear is nothing to be like, it's scary, and it's normal to fear something, but you've also got to try and overcome that fear by doing something. You can't sit around and just sit in your comfort zone forever, because otherwise you're never going to try new things, you're never going to learn new things, and you're never going to realise that sometimes there are other things in life than what you're used to. So, like, for example, before uni, I was used to living at home with my parents and it just being me in my room, watching films on my computer and doing other stuff. Then I went to uni, and that was a complete change of my comfort zone, because I never lived on my own. I was 21 and I didn't really know how to socialise with people, didn't know how to talk to people, and as time went by I learned and changed, and it became the best part of my life, and I'm so grateful I went. Another thing, if I never went to uni, I never would have started a YouTube channel, because I never would have had the confidence to do it, because I never would have thought about it. So that's just something, and I also probably would not have wanted to leave retail ever, because that's what I was doing for like ages. Another thing is that the reason you need to focus on yourself now is the longer you leave it, the more you're going to compare yourself to other people. Now, you could all say you don't do that because you want to believe and deny that you don't, but it's honestly, when you're not exactly in love with yourself and confident in yourself and focusing on yourself, you definitely do compare yourself to other people. You just don't think you do. And you never would openly admit to it because, well, why would you? If you openly admit to it, then you're basically saying you don't love yourself and you don't want other people to think that. Because I didn't, but I realised I was definitely comparing myself to others. I was comparing myself to people my age or younger who were maybe having kids, maybe getting married, maybe successful in their job. Maybe have their whole life figured out, and then there's me who's like, well, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, I'm still single, and I'm not even got thoughts of marrying someone at this point, or having a kid at someone at this point, when really, that is normal, and that is okay. You don't need to be that person, but when you're not fully indulging and investing time in yourself, it's very easy to get lost in your own mind and compare yourself to other people, whether they're your friends or they're people on their Instagram or they're TikTokers or they're actors or they're people on YouTube. It's very easy. For example, I used to compare myself to like people like Anastasia, Saffron Barker, Has, Byron, a few other people like that, because they're all younger than me and they're all more successful than me in life. They've got this like an income that is helping them like prepare them for life. Like Saffron Barker was able to pay for her own car, buy her own Range Rover, which was my dream car. I can't drive yet, let alone have a car, and I can't afford stuff like that yet. They can, and I know that's because they've worked for it. They've got that. That's just how they've got there. It's not like that for everyone, and I need to stop thinking like that. And as soon as you stop thinking like that and you realise where you are right now is okay, you don't have to have your life set out or planned. You don't have to have a lot of money in your bank. You could be in your overdraft. You could be struggling for money. You could be not knowing what the hell you're going to do in the future. You don't know what your job's going to be. That's all okay. All of it is okay, because really all that matters is if you're happy. And I think I have definitely learned over the time of trying to find myself again and focus on myself is that actually I am happy. I'm happy with who I am and where I am right now, and whether that makes me successful to other people, it doesn't matter. Other people's opinions do not matter. When you focus on yourself and you really spend that time really focusing on yourself and learning about yourself again and learning to love yourself again, you start to realise that other people's opinions of you are really nothing. That's just people wasting their time focusing on your life and not their own. And usually it's not, I wouldn't say, like people always say it's because they're jealous. Maybe not that they're jealous, it's just that they need to focus on something else or someone else to ignore their life that's going on right now. They want to focus on someone else's problems or something else that in their head is someone else's problem, but isn't actually a problem. Does that make sense? God, I feel like I'm sounding like a life coach, but I'm not even near like that. You probably just see me reach for like 2 different drinks, water and a smoothie right now. I'm doing great. Another thing I would say is that is I haven't read much of it, so I can't say it's helping me, but it definitely looks interesting, is reading self-care books. I've used to love reading and I'm trying to get back into it, but I have bought 2 books and I'm buying a 3rd one on Friday, but by the time you see this video I think it might be next week, so I would have already bought it and had it. So I'll get this one because it's right in front of me. Everything I Know About Love, which I want to read. Well, I'm reading. I've read the first chapter and then I kind of stopped because that's a pack to move, and then I never got back to reading. And I bought, which is up on my shelf up there, Women Don't Owe You Pretty, which I really can't wait to buy. Is it Florence? Yeah, Florence Given. Which I love the book, the cover of the book and everything inside it. It looks cute. So I want to give that a read, and I want to buy Be Your Own Best Friend. Sorry. I'm gonna buy Be Your Own Best Friend by Chessie King, because I've seen so many people read it, heard so many good reviews on it so far, and I just want to give it a shot and see what it's like. And I think that's actually important to realise that as much as having your own friends is important, it's very important to have friends, whether they're your close friends, and your immediate friends, the ones you go to straight away, or other friends you have, that's great, and I definitely recommend having friends because things will get a bit lonely at times otherwise. But you really need to be your own best friend, and I think you'll never be fully happy no matter who you're with if you're not your own best friend. And I think that's the problem with some people. They just assume, like, I'm not saying names or anything, and I'm not saying I know people like this, but I do. And even myself, to be fair, used to always think that in order to be happy you need to be with a guy, you needed to have a certain amount of friends, you needed to have the same amount of friends your friends had, you needed to speak to your friends all day, every single day, otherwise they're not your friends. You don't. Like, there is a saying that real friendship can go days or months without speaking or seeing each other and it will still remain the same. And it's true. I have, like, one of my closest friends who I've known since we were babies. She's a year younger than me. We're still, like, best friends. She's like my sister to me. And nothing's changed. Like, she's married and got a kid, and nothing's changed with us. We're still as close, and we don't see each other that often. Like, I saw her the weekend I went home last week, and like we went for lunch together for the first time since, like, probably before my birthday, and that was a long time ago because my birthday's in January and it's now August. So we can go ages without speaking to each other or seeing each other, and we're still as close as we were when we left off the last time. And that's normal real friendship, but you really need to be your own best friend, because otherwise there's gonna be a time, like, I'm not saying all your friends will disappoint you, but you can lose some friends. Like, when you grow up, sometimes friends will come into your life at a certain point and they will be there for a certain amount of time, and then it will come to a point when that friendship kind of ends and you split off. Sometimes it ends on a good note, sometimes it doesn't. But not all your friends are going to remain your friends for the rest of your life. You might believe it because you want to believe it, but they're not always. And you kind of have to accept it, because that's what adult life is. You sometimes grow apart from friends that you've been friends with for years. Like, you can be friends with someone for like 15, 20 years. That doesn't mean they're going to be friends with the rest of your life. It's not the amount of time you've known someone. It's just how good of a friend they are to you at the time. And also, sometimes you just drift apart, and that's normal. But you can't, like, give up on yourself. You can't lose yourself. You need to be your own best friend, because otherwise you're going to be miserable. Because there's only one person who can really look out for you, and that is you. You can't rely on your friends to look out for you. You can't rely on your friends just to have your back. You've got to have your back. You've got to look out for yourself. Because, yes, your friends will do that, and if they're really, they will do that, but they shouldn't have to be the ones to do it. You should want to do it. You shouldn't rely on them to do it, because if like something, like, you're in an argument right now, say in the middle of an argument with someone else, and your friend who you think have your back is at work at the moment and can't do it, you can't get upset that they can't stop what they're doing to help you. You've got to look up for yourself, you've got to stick up for yourself, and you've got to have your own back. It is sometimes hard to believe that, and sometimes you feel like you need other people, but you don't. And as soon as you learn that it's just you need to focus on yourself, the better it is for you as well as it is for. As soon as you love yourself and you find yourself, the much more easier it is, and the much more relaxed you would be around other people, and your friendship groups your real friends will always be there for you. It doesn't matter if you take time and don't speak to them for months because you're trying to focus on yourself. If they're really your friends, they won't let you go. They'll also check up on you anyway, but I really think you need to, this is your time to focus on yourself. I think I wrote that else down. Where is my diary? I have one more note, and it kind of links back to having friends and relying on them to be happy, and they're the reason you're happy. Is if you don't focus on yourself now, you're just going to let other people define who you are, and sometimes people's definition of you would be great, you're like an amazing person, but sometimes it'll be a negative thing, and you can't prove them wrong because you're letting them define you. You're letting them be the person who has their opinion, basically says is what they say about you. Your opinion doesn't mean nothing because you don't love yourself. And it's like, if you're getting told something by someone saying that you're fat or something, or their opinion basically defines you, if you don't love yourself, you're going to kind of sit there and agree with them, and you're just going to get upset. And that's the one thing, when you learn to love yourself, you stick up for yourself and you stop yourself from believing what they say. And I think that's important. So yeah, that's my little life lesson for you. I do hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit of a tangent and a bit of a ramble, but I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment down below. Please subscribe, and I will see you again soon with another video. And I'm going to put my fan back on to be a bit more cooler.